Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunrise Daily today. I'm Chamberlain. What's up?
Beautiful Thursday morning from here in Lagos. I am Kayode Kikyodu.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Ayo Makinde.
And from Abuja, it's good morning. I'm Maokpe Ogun-Yusuf.
Yeah, so, well, yes, we're going to go through the dailies, but in case you're wondering, no, it's not here. It's with you, Maokpe.
Indeed. Thank you, Chamberlain. We have with us in the studio Mr. Chuks Oko, who is former special project editor of the Vanguard and Diet newspapers. He is currently the publisher of Clarion newspapers and managing editor, Nigerian Express. You're welcome to our Abuja studios this morning.
Thank you, Mokwe.
And let's see what the papers are saying this morning. Let's start with The Guardian. I'm looking at this one. Why federal government's planned asset sale can't boost revenue. Professionals want assets valued before sale. Concession. Not adhering to procurement law is illegal, says Wike. It's against fiscal responsibility to sell capital assets for recurrent purposes. That's another quote. I don't know who's speaking. Page 2 will give the details, but we've been seeing this on and off for a while now. Federal government looking to sell some of its assets to boost revenue. They're looking for money from everywhere, it was saying. But what do you make of this? I mean, how is the Bureau of is it privatization now going with this? Do you think that this has the potential to boost significantly Nigeria's earning capacity?
Well, you know, the problem is that very recently we have been having problems about financing the budget, and government had resorted to borrowing, and everybody is saying, you're borrowing too much, you're burdening our economy. So naturally, they have to look for alternatives, you know, to fund the budget. But like you said, whether money that we recover from these assets will be enough to fund the budget will be a different ballgame, because you know how it is with reselling. You're not going to get the real value of what you're doing. And in a situation in this country where everybody is always looking for sharp practices, you also have maybe the people who will be burdened with that exercise, trying to see what they can make, even for themselves. So it's a tough call, really. It might not give them the kind of money they want, but it might keep us from borrowing from outside.
Yeah, but looking at what we've experienced in the past and how far you know, the sale of government assets in the past have gone, people have reason to be worried about, you know, the process. I think that's the big word there, because oftentimes the accusation has always been they sell to their friends, and usually at a ridiculous rate. The asset is usually worth more than it has been sold for. So how do we ensure that they are able to make the most of the assets that they're selling?
Well, what we can do is asking the agencies. We have the agencies that are on ground to make sure that those things go right. Asking them to please keep their eyes open. Something we shouldn't be doing, really, because once you have an agency like ICPC, FCC, their duty is to regulate those things. We don't even need a special appeal to them. Once a process is started, they're supposed to step in and ensure that those things are done properly. But we might find ourselves in a situation where we're asking again, please, help us let this thing happen the way it should happen.
Well, that's what the Guardian is focusing on this morning. They also have other stories here for you. Akeredolu Makinde meets Buhari, gets nod to tackle criminals. Oshibajo to attend the Guardian book launches is also there as well. And if you look on top of the nameplate, they've been going on with the editorial for a while, and they have this: federalism is the answer after all. Well, let's leave it there for the Guardian, and let's slip it to Lagos. Chamberlain.
Okay, well, take a look at this particular one, Nigerian Tribune this morning, just writing interestingly. But Nigeria in a state of emergency, Buhari tells news service chiefs. So that big meeting which they had, some of the outcome coming through this morning. But this rider might interest you. Appointment of service chiefs illegal without Senate's approval. Falana. And then PDP continuing, they're asking ICC to probe and try sacked service chief. So that the first of those riders, we've been down this road before, appointing service chiefs, the role the Senate have got to play. How do you think, because the reactions just kind of overran the thought of the illegality of or otherwise or the role Senate had to play. But we're being reminded now by Mr. Falana. What say you of this one?
Well, if the Senate has to confirm, like you said, I don't know what the law says about that particularly. But if the Senate has to confirm, I'm sure the government will have put things in place to ensure that confirmation by now. But you also know that in matters of security, when you appoint people, you don't really wait for those confirmations. They come later. It has happened, like you said, we've traveled this road before. It comes a bit later. But there's a job to be done, and it has to be done immediately. And in a country as diverse as our own, you also get to see reactions to everything. You can never do anything right. Even when the right things are done, people must find a way to fault it. That's basically the thing. All the angles that people are coming from, these people are from this part of the country, the other part of the country, and all that. Those are all the reactions. And we're seeing the issue of legal now, whether they were appointed correctly or not. So I'm sure government, they have the right people to ensure that the right thing is done.
Well, I think they'll pardon you when you say you're not too conversant with the law, because the law is the law. So if they've got to proceed with the law first before this one,
what I mean is that
then
particular process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what it is. I mean, I remember Mr. Keyamo had written about this before, and they've gone to court on this matter, and they cited legal precedents. But it's there for people to go ahead and take a look at and see, such that we always get it right the first time, all the time. As a matter of fact, I do remember that one. But still talking about security, this little piece, very important, I might add, above the late story. My abductors sold me to herdsmen. That's according to Free Edo Immigration PRO, narrating his ordeal. Similarly, this one is just beneath that, all of this lead story. Hunter's ID card found with 13 armed men from Kebbi, arrested in Ibadan, ascribed to police. So do you see us making headway now that we've got new service chiefs in terms of the expectations from Nigerians, because they will be quick to cry wolf? I'm tempted to add even when there's none. What do you see happening?
Well, new service chiefs, yes, but they are inheriting a structure that is already with their own army, their own police, or their own navy or their own air force. The structure is already there on the ground. What they might just be contributing is saying, we normally use men A or men B in this aspect, so let's try men C or men D. So I expect the tempo to be up because new people are there. They would like to do something different from what's been happening so that we could hear them. But the expectations are not really high, if you ask me, because we have the same set of people on ground. Maybe they could do one or two things to get the morale high, and when the morale is boosted, maybe we could have better results. But I think they simply need to do something different from what we've been seeing all these years. Because
perhaps that's part of the point. Doing something different. Because I don't know why sometimes when you want to use football analogy, some may begrudge you. But you know, when you talk about men A or men D, if you sack a coach and the new one comes through, even if it has a Benjamin Mendy there, but they've got the same men, so he's supposed to get results with the same men. So in this case, isn't it a similar thing that because you knew you expected to get results, that's why they put them there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, immediately they get appointed, part of what they should be thinking is, I have this same set of people I'm working with. What do I do to make them do things differently? You saw what happened. Even the day after the appointment, or immediately they were appointed, there were very tangible results from the Boko Haram end. You know, the troops fought with renewed vigor and all that. So it's we're expecting that they themselves, the new services will say, fine, we'll be here. And luckily, two of those commanders have been there, right there at the theater of war. So I expect them to review strategies and decide and come up with ways that they can do things differently to get these things done. But otherwise, like I said, same players in the field. You really need to know what to do to them to get better results.
Okay, I'm really tempted to jump into the Mendy or Mani analogy, but take a look at Daily Trust this morning. And it's security. I mean, it's a big deal. Buhari to service chiefs were in a state of emergency, so expectations are definitely high on this one. We see CDS saying we'll tackle insecurity. Hold them to account, Northern elders. We need more mobile policemen. Makinde. Ondo begins herdsmen registration today. So apparently, maybe there was no registration before now, because you heard one of the farmers saying, well, we don't think there's any herdsman registered, before this point. So, seeing this one, we'll see how it plays out. It's on page 5 of the Daily Trust. But perhaps the story of the day for me will be the big pictures on the front page of the Daily Trust. And it shows female soldiers deployed to the Abuja-Kaduna highway received by Governor Nasir El-Rufai. 300 of them. And, I saw the news yesterday and I had goosebumps, goose pimples all over.
Why? Because there are 300 soldiers?
Because this just changes the face of war, as it were. It just opens our eyes to possibilities. For a lot of people, you know what, Mr. Chuks, seeing this 300 female soldiers deployed to Abuja-Kaduna highway, how do you feel with this one?
Well, my brother, you're a journalist. Even in journalism, we don't have men, we don't have women. And that's the way it is with the military. Those are very trained soldiers. You can't deal with them because you can't be saying these are women, so they'll do things softer. In fact, it has been shown that women actually, I'm telling you, they actually do things with more aggression when they are given the opportunity to do so. So I believe that the tactical commanders know what they are doing. These are well-trained soldiers. Forget about their sexes. So I believe that something better will happen in that axis.
I imagine Makwe wanted to respond to that, but...
Yeah, let's talk about to a guest this morning too, on this subject matter.
Makwe, what do you think?
I lost you for a bit, Kayode. I didn't hear.
I was asking what
anything you said. What did you say? Sorry.
I was asking what you think about what Mr. Chuk said about women, doing things even more aggressively, being more lethal when it comes to issues such as this. Is he right in that area?
Well, I hope, I sincerely hope that the bandits will not go and say, oh, they just put some women there, let us go and try them. I think that would be
still 300.
Oh, yeah.
I sincerely hope that they are not going to undermine them because of their sexes. That will be the undoing of those bandits. That's what I had to say, I pity anyone who says, oh, they are women. And they're soldiers. Well, I wish you good luck.
Absolutely. I will wish them the very best.
Well.
Absolutely. And this is good news, really. It opens our minds to a lot of possibilities in this war. But finally, let me just end with this one. Many killed as rival bandits clash in Katsina. That's also another angle. So, yes, we have the security agents doing their bits, but you see, the rival bandits are doing the killings themselves. So, good luck.
The Vanguard newspaper is next, and it's also leading with security, or a lack of it. Insecurity, flush out all criminals in your state. Buhari tells Akeredolu. We've spoken extensively about this one, and a host of riders there. And you also see that one, how PIB will promote economic growth, transparency. I guess you pick up the paper, you will find all the details in there. Well, Mr. Okodi, the news that really jumped at me, right above the nameplate where the Sultan is quoted as saying, COVID-19, we can't force Nigerians to accept vaccine. And under the sub-headline there, Bill Gates tells Nigeria to spend less on vaccination, more on healthcare facilities. Find that one on page 9. How do you respond to these two?
Well, we are faced with a situation that everybody knows that you have to protect yourself, you have to be healthy, you have to be alive to even do any other thing. If the Sultan is talking about the vaccine being taken, I'm sure he's remembering the kind of situation that we had about immunizing children against polio, the resistance that came at that time. So if he's advising people about the importance of taking the vaccine when it comes, it is because there had been a resistance before, and he's hoping that this time people will understand the dynamics and allow themselves to be vaccinated against the deadly disease. Now, the other one Bill Gates is saying, there is definitely no need overemphasizing it. Like I said, you have to be healthy to do any other thing. So if you do not have people in a country, what are you, who are the people you are doing other things for? So we have to be healthy to actually get things moving.
In there is, I think, what another point that one of the governors has made before, that we should spend less on vaccinations, on getting the vaccines, as opposed to equipping and enriching our healthcare facilities all over the nation. Do you think that's is it something significant for you, or you think it's a no-brainer?
Well, that particular governor has been making fun of the COVID situation ever since it started. So I guess it's time we also look another way where he's talking about these issues, because he doesn't think there's a problem. So whatever he's saying does not add to solving the problem. He believes there's no problem. So since we know there's a problem and he's saying there's no problem, there is no need listening to him. That's my thinking.
Markwe?
Well, let's continue with New Telegraph here. If you look at what's on the front page, they have this one. Buhari to service chiefs were in state of emergency. So they also have what I'd like to term the story of the day. CDS will add value, secure lives and properties. Major reorganization looms in armed forces. Oni Akeredolu Makinde, brief president on security, is also there. Pages 3 and 4 of the paper. You have a number of other stories here, a few linked to health. Look at this. 4 die, 56 hospitalized as diarrhea ravages Sokoto. Page 6 is where you find details. A very sad one, isn't it? Yes, you also see in the same breath, Governor, 9 aides test positive for COVID-19. President assents law to check virus spread. That's there. And if you look on top of the nameplate, it looks like finally Bill Gates speaks up on the matter. Bill Gates, it's evil to link me with COVID-19 creation. That's what you see right there. What do you make of the conspiracy theories, though? I mean, those who have said maybe this is some attempt by the big men of the world to just try and get everyone to take in chips in the name of vaccines and things of the sort. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, unfortunately, almost everything we do is subjected to over 20, 30 conspiracy theories. Nobody knows what is real any longer. Rather, people are not willing to believe in things they are looking at directly. Now, even if it was somebody conspired to do anything, we are in it. It's killing people all over the place. So it is real. We are seeing it. Now, you're talking about vaccine and you're talking about chip. As far as I know, the vaccine is supposed to be a liquid substance. If it's injected into your body, how does it now turn to a chip inside your system? Because I know that chips, when they are implanted, you know something is being implanted in you, but this is a needle going into you and leaving liquid substance there. How does it become a chip? You understand? But we are in
Well, you've heard the theories, right? You've heard them say
definitely a whole lot of them. A whole lot of them. Initially, we saw theories that it was something being created in China to be used in chemical warfare that escaped. That was the first theory. People swore that they saw these stories of a colonel who said, even if I die, but I'm doing this to save the world. Where has all those things come to? China lost people. US is losing people if they are talking. Everybody in the world. So who actually conspired to do what to who? That is a great question.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know if his statement, his response right now has any effect on those who continue to link him with the creation of COVID-19, or will I say, attempts to make money off vaccines and things of the sort. I don't know.
A whole lot of things actually do happen behind the scene, especially among all those big pharmaceuticals and all that. But if you do not have any clear-cut proof about anything, why are you accusing the man? After all, polio is wrestled to ground zero now. That's Bill Gates. For several years, he was on top of it, matching Rotary. If he would say, bring 100 million, I'll bring 200 million. And that's how polio went off. So are you saying he was creating another thing so that his money will keep doubling? How can he be one of the world's richest and all he's doing is making money from donating vaccines all over the place? So how does he really now make the money if he's donating vaccines, not even selling them?
Well, I think that's a big question those who make all of these accusations have to answer. But let's leave it there for New Telegraph.
Well, take a look at News Direct now. Well, yes, we'll come to that lead story, but don't forget this. FG to shut down third mainland bridge for 72 hours. When I saw this and somebody was like, are you sure you're reading the right paper? Because you thought you heard this before, right? Well, yes, it is. It's another round and it's going to happen. So people should just look out. You get to read the story and see when is this scheduled to take place. Well, one thing I can tell you is that the completion date, they say, had been moved by 1 more month as a result of the protest. But to that big story on the front page, COVID-19, violators of face mask law risk 6 months jail. Buhari, you think this is going to work?
Well, let's hope it works, because that's part of our problem.
Let's hope
we hardly obey laws in this country. We're always looking for ways to circumvent them. But otherwise, wearing face masks is for your own good. Why should you even need a law to compel you to protect yourself against a disease? But funny thing is, I've noticed that in most public places, yes, they insist on you wearing a face mask before entering. But immediately you enter, everybody out there, including the people who are supposed to be enforcing it, nobody's wearing a face mask. If the guard is letting loose inside, even government offices, they will insist you must wear a face mask before you enter. But immediately you pass the gate where you were screened, you see everybody going about without face mask. So it has come to a point that we really will need a law and an enforcement, because it's not the law. We have plenty of laws in this country that have made this place safer and better, but nobody is obeying them. And even the people who are supposed to be enforcing it also help in circumventing it. So, Temale, I really hope that we comply for our own good.
All right then. Okay.
Yes, we still have a blueprint. You see this, Buhari to service chiefs. We're in a state of emergency. I'll pray for you. That's the addition we see there. This one says, our promise to secure the country stands. We'll meet Nigerians' expectations, as according to CDS Irabo. Omwagege Ndume Hill president. Northern governors urge consolidation. Appointment of service chiefs not enough. That's according to NEF. They also have the story, break COVID-19 protocols, go to jail. But quickly, let's look at this one. PIB ready April, says Gbajabiamila, as stakeholders hail move. Are you optimistic that indeed this PIB will eventually see the light of day in April as they're promising?
Okay, I really wonder what is keeping this bill. Everybody's been running away from it. When I say everybody, I mean, you can remember how many years we've been in the process of passing the PIB bill. And yet, our main revenue as a country comes from petroleum. So what is the big deal in regulating it properly?
Well, this is where it is right now. Do you think that it will be out before April? That's the big question.
Well, yeah, the public hearings are going on now. So if they work according to their timetable, it should really be out.
Well, it's a fine place to live it. We have to thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning. Chuks Oko is former special project editor of Vanguard and Diet newspapers, publisher the Clarion newspapers, and managing editor Nigerian Express. Thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you both.
Well, the program continues. Don't go anywhere. We're only just getting started. Do grab a cup of coffee and see you on the other side.